We'll give everybody a little time to take a seat, and then we'll begin so we can stay on time. We really want this to be collaborative and have time for your questions and comments. So welcome everybody. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for taking time out of your day to be here. My name is Deborah Ortiz. I'm the Vice President of the Governing Board, and I'm happy to be with you today to begin a very important conversation about the future of our district and our colleges. I'm joined here today by some of our trustees who are watching online, and I want to do a special shout out because I know that Trustee Destin Johnson is watching, so he is certainly online here, and others I'm sure are. Many are traveling on district business, and they will be watching as well online. Today marks the beginning of the process of selecting the next Chancellor of the Los Rios Community College District. As you know, Chancellor King announced earlier this semester that he plans to retire at the end of 2025-2026 academic year after 13 years as Chancellor of Los Rios. In partnership with our represented groups, Academic Senate, the Chancellor's leadership team, and our board, our district has experienced extraordinary stability during our Chancellor's tenure. The Board of Trustees is proud of that stability and believe that it's a testament to the outstanding students, faculty, staff, and administrators that have made our district so successful. It also underscores how important it is that we run a comprehensive, transparent, collaborative, thorough search to identify the next leader of our district. Our board prioritized, felt strongly, and believed in the significance of the search for our next chancellor, and we began a competitive RFP process and selection of our consulting groups, PPL, to lead this search process. Jim Riggs and Ben Duran from PPL, who will lead today's discussion, have demonstrated a deep commitment to engaging all of our stakeholders throughout this search process, which was among the reasons the board selected the firm. By way of context, we had 2 of these with students and constituency groups on Monday at American River College and Sac City College. Today, we are here at Folsom Lake College, as well as CRC later. Is it later today? Yeah. Correct, and President Wilkerson will be opening up that. So by the end of today, we will have had 4 college-based forums. Before I turn it over to Jim and Ben, on behalf of the full board, I want to thank you in advance for your participation today and for your honest and forward-looking input into this process. I encourage you to be constructive, provide us with some guidance and bright lines with a focus on looking to the future. We often think about what do we need today, but your input about what we're going to need 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line is really critical. So keep that in mind as you're giving us your input. The feedback gathered today will help the board develop and create a position description that reflects the unique needs of Los Rios and our colleges to ensure that we recruit the best, most diverse pool of candidates from the state of California and across the country. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Ben Duran and Jim Riggs. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Ortiz. Appreciate it. This is going to be very informal today, and just wanted to kind of set the stage for you today. And first of all, thank you for coming out. And secondly, what a beautiful facility, my goodness. I feel like, you know, I should be getting paid for the Academy Awards or something. But anyway, so my good friend Jim Riggs and I are doing this search. We're delighted to do it. And as Trustee Ortiz was saying to you, they're truly, the Board of Trustees has really worked hard and wants to work hard to make this a transparent search. It will be a very confidential search, and we'll maintain the confidentiality of the search throughout, just to maintain the integrity. But we want to be sure that we hear from all the voices, from the 4 colleges, from the faculty, classified, students. We actually had an opportunity to meet with some of your students this morning before we came over here, and we had a very good conversation with them about asking them very similar questions to what we're going to be asking you today. And we said to them, hey, come on out. Are any of you students? No, nobody knows students yet. Because we told them, hey, if you want to come out to the forum as well, come on out and sit in and hear what the folks who work here are thinking about the next chancellor, if you will. And so we're going to get started. You'll see, well, at the end, you will see Jim's and my name and our contact information. And you will also see it on the website. There will be a search website, as Trustee Ortiz has indicated. We'll put together a profile, a position announcement that will be, if you will, for those of you who are contract people or whatever, the request for proposals from the candidates that are out there. We're going to say to them, get on the website, see what Los Rios Community College District has said, here's what we're looking for in our next chancellor. And if you think you're that person, then we're going to be asking you to submit your papers to be considered. And so it'll be unique. It'll be a unique position announcement that will reflect what we've heard Monday, what we're going to hear today, what we've heard from the students, and certainly it will reflect what the Board of Trustees have indicated, because this is the one person that they hire. And so with that, Jim, any comments that you would add?
The only thing I would add at this point, there's a survey, online survey. We'll be asking a lot of the same questions today, but as you, after you go away and you start thinking about, yeah, these are the strengths of the district, or the personal and professional characteristics and qualities that we'd like to see in the chancellor, and the other couple of questions, there's going to be a QR code on every one of these slides after this one that you can shoot and go right to that survey. The survey is going to be up until Friday at 5 o'clock, so you get your input in at that time. It's live right now, for especially those folks that are listening through the webinar. They can go on and just, if they think of something they could add it on right now. So I've got this pad here. I'm going to take a lot of notes because we don't want to do a lot of the talking. We want to do a lot of the listening to your ideas. So with that, I think we're ready to get started.
Yeah, we're ready to get started. Just as an FYI, because we're in this state-of-the-art facility, these microphones that are hanging here, they will catch what you say. But we're going to be asking you to speak, clearly and loud enough for the folks that are live streaming the thing, or that are watching it, that they can hear you as well. But it's being recorded, and we're going to take all of the information that we're hearing again Monday, today, put it all together, and ultimately put it together for the Board of Trustees. So when we ask you to speak up, you can certainly, as Jim's indicated, you can go to the QR code and you can start filling things out. But we'd also we'd like some live input today. That's why we're here. So with that, Jim, let's go on.
Okay, yeah, here's that QR code, and again, it's going to be showing up throughout the PowerPoint. First thing we're going to do is we're just going to take a couple of minutes to go over the search process. And we haven't hired a new chancellor in 12 or 13 years. We'll go through the process of what it is, and then I'll show you some examples of personal and professional characteristics, or just samples there to get you to start thinking, and then we'll go in and I'll start asking the questions, and we'll start taking the notes. And if you can't speak up real loud, I think we've got another microphone we can pass around if need be. So with that, again, just a little bit about the process. This is the Board of Trustees search, so they'll be involved throughout the entire process here, and helping through this staff to coordinate all phases. This process takes 8 to 9 months. It's not something that happens overnight. It takes a while. This is the very beginning of the process. The next one, we're doing the input forums right now this week. Recruitment for the position, once it gets up and advertised and out there, Ben and I, working with the HR staff, will be really active in recruitment. We have databases, we have contacts, we have a national recruitment associate who's familiar with California but lives in another part of the country and is nationally known. He'll also help us with recruitment there. And then the committee, the search committee would still will be constituted. We're going to be talking to the trustees next week about their ideas about a search committee. And then they'll review the applications and do the first level interviews. And then once they've selected the ones to send forward to the trustees, and these folks agree to go forward as finalists, there'll be forums, there'll be impression groups, as well as all the activities that the trustees will go through to make their selection. So that doesn't sound like 9 months worth of work, but it is. So we'll get there.
But, and Jim, before you go on, and those, you may be curious, but with respect to the recruitment process, Jim kind of laid it out. I mean, we've got databases, we got folks, we've already got people calling us, knowing that we're doing the search. And so we're having people saying, hey, I'm in, or I know someone who wants to get in, how do we do this? So what, and you may have a person that you know of out there in the world somewhere who you think might be a good chancellor. Please refer them to Jim and me if you can. Our email addresses and our contact information will be up here. Just send it to us and say, hey, Jim Riggs would be a great candidate. Not talking to him. Don't talk with him because it'll give them the sense that maybe they've got an inside track, and we don't want, there is no one with an inside track. It's a wide open search. But if you have someone, refer them to us. We will reach out to them, and then ultimately we'll send them to the website and say, is this you? Does it look like you? So anyway, just as an FYI, so if you have someone, let Jim and me know. Don't bother folks in the HR office or trustees or anything else like that, because we're trying to funnel everything through us so that, again, maintain that integrity of the search, okay?
Yeah. And just also to mention, Ben and I will be doing the reference checking. We outsource that, and we do extensive reference checking on the finalists. And it's quite a lengthy process that we'll provide to the trustees. Obviously, the trustees will make their selection, and then the new chancellor will start. So that's, again, that lays it out there. The time frame, just to give you an idea why it takes so long, is it really takes about 1 to 2 months to do all the preparation. Get around, talk to people, build the websites, come to consensus, work with the Board of Trustees on the job description and all the other aspects that we need to have ready to go out before we open up the search. And the recruitment, we'll be recruiting for about 2 to 2.5 months through the process out there. And then the application screening and first level interviews takes about 4 to 6 weeks. And then the final selection takes about maybe 6 weeks, maybe 2 months to get done. There's negotiations and getting the persons in place to go. So that gives you an idea of a quick layout. We do not have a tentative timeline yet to share with you. We'll be working with the trustees on that as well. So with that, things we're going to be asking, and this is right on the website there. We're going to ask you, what are the professional and personal characteristics of the new chancellor that you would like us to look for and that we could put up on the website? So what I'm going to show you here real quickly, and I won't read them to you, but these are just samples here. This isn't, we're not asking for minimum qualifications or even desirable qualifications. Those are pretty clear. Those are pretty objective, master's degree or doctorate preferred or whatever. These are these qualitative aspects that you really need to have in your next leader. So these are just examples. Embracing the mission of the California Community College. Someone who really gets it. What Los Rios is about, what Folsom Lake's about, and what the California Community College system's about. Collaborative leadership. We were hearing that over and over as we've gone into these forums. Values diversity, equity, and inclusion in all its forms, even against some of the headwinds that we're might be facing.
And there hasn't been one group, student or forums, and that was Monday, where this literally didn't come up. So it's something that is literally embedded in the very nature, I think, of your district. So just,
Yeah. And then community mindedness, there's an outward facing role for the chancellor, and it makes sure that community and community college stays there and it defines itself for the here and the future. Next one is effective fiscal and resource management. Understand that there's that side of leading a large complex institution there. We know, for those of us that have been in the system a long time, it's a roller coaster ride financially. And passion to lead in uncertain times. We could flash that up any decade. I've been in it over 40 years, been as well to see this, but I would say this is the most uncertain time I have seen in the California system. Effectively motivating others here, someone that could bring people together and really get people to do their best as you serve students. Highest ethics and integrity, someone you don't have to second guess, someone that's you could trust. Advancing external relationships. You've got being in the state capitol. There's a little bit of everybody in the state, all the other community colleges and community college district is looking to Los Rios. Is some advocacy, some direction. So you're a bellwether district here as well.
and the other thing is that going to the two different colleges Monday, what we're hearing also, are there going to be some facilities needs? Not now, maybe-ish, but down the road, 2-3 years down the road. And the Board of Trustees and you all folks may be pursuing a district-wide bond election and that sort of thing. So something like this, someone who understands how to create kind of a relationship with your local communities to make sure that the district becomes an integral part of the community is a really important piece as well.
The positive and effective labor relations, someone that can work effectively with the labor partners throughout the district here. And then effective leadership in a complex district environment. Multi-college districts are their own entity, and someone who really understands the roles of the colleges, the important roles and independence of the colleges, and the district as a whole as it serves this very large district. And then ability to develop and articulate a practical but a compelling vision that positions the district for the future. And someone that could really focus Los Rios and work with the colleges going forward. And then working with the Board of Trustees. Somebody could effectively work with an elected board. And then personable and approachable. We've heard that over and over during these forums, that really need somebody that could listen well, someone we could approach, and when they nod their head yes, or say I'll look into it, they really do, and have a loop back.
Yeah, and we heard it in several different ways from folks, and then the students saying, hey, we really do want someone that when they come and they say, I'm here to listen, that they not only listen, they hear us. We may not get what we ultimately get, but at least some action, something is going to reflect the fact that we were listened to. So it's someone who will in fact listen. Again, we're not all going to get everything we want, but at the very least, have people understand that okay, at least they heard us, at least they listened to us.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you now for some input, either today, hopefully some input today on this, and then also on your survey. But what are the most important personal and professional attributes and characteristics you would like most in your next chancellor? So I'm going to throw that out there, and we're pretty well done talking. We're going to listen to you.
So raise your hands.
What?
Raise your hands or stand up and just, yes, thank you.
Want to come to a microphone here?
Yeah, why don't we pass the mic? Let me go down, Jim, and I'll pass that microphone around.
We can do
You need to come up there if that's easier.
Well, if I can get out of here. Let's see if it's on.
Thank you. Is that on?
Yes.
You see I'm wearing my ARC red, white, and blue today, so thank you for letting me come to your session. I crashed the one at SEC last night, but I had a realization. The realization was that there was a lot of energy coming from the people who were in there in person, and I wasn't going to be able to share any of my energy just filling out the survey. And so, I begin with this because I hope that maybe some of the things that I say will give you some energy to not be shy and to share what you feel is important. And so I'd like to have a chancellor who can count to 12. And what I mean by that, I mean that I'm here today not representing my personal views, but I'm representing 1 in 12 students at ARC, and I haven't done the stats, but arguably 1 in 12 students in our district are ESL students, English as a second language. Let me also clarify that doesn't mean that 1 in 12 are immigrants. There's probably more than 1 in 12 who are immigrants because not all immigrants or refugees take English as a second language. So this is a huge portion of our district, these students. I hope we can find a chancellor who understands their needs, that these students are often literally lost in translation, lost in legislation, and lost in resource allocation. And so if we're trying to compile some questions to perhaps ask a future chancellor, on the committee, one of my colleagues suggested a students first focus. With all the pressures and priorities that a chancellor has to process and deal with on a daily basis, can they give an example from their life how they have put students first in the midst of all those pressures and priorities? Can't imagine trying to process what a chancellor has to process, but with all that, can they show from their life how they have put students first, right? Not just in theory, but some concrete examples. With these ESL students, I'd hope the chancellor understands their needs and understands their backgrounds. Everybody I talk to who finds out that I teach in Sacramento is always surprised to find out that often less than 10% of the students in the ESL classes are Spanish speakers. Many of the Spanish speakers are past ESL and off doing other things. We have students who are primarily from Afghanistan, Ukraine, Russia, quite a few other countries, approximately 30 if you start looking around the district. But at this time, we have so many from those countries, those war-torn countries. And so, besides being English second language learners, they're refugees, they're immigrants, and they need advocates. They need a chancellor who understands those special needs. Perhaps asking the chancellor what thoughts they have to advocating for those students in a much more institutionalized way. Perhaps having a refugee immigrant assistance center where students who need immediate help can come and say, what can I do legally because I just had ICE show up and take my husband away. Some very hard day-to-day needs there. I'd hope that Chancellor can understand there's different kinds of success for these students. Maybe it's transfer. Maybe it's to get a certificate in a career field, a vocational field. Maybe it's not. Maybe they just need to get up to speed in English so that they can take the skills they've already brought with them and activate those skills. They just need their English fluency. That the Chancellor would understand the need for resource allocation to help these students assess and get into the right level so that they're not blindly choosing where should I start. And we've received some great help from the district in that regard, and would love to see a Chancellor who understands the need to sustain that.
I took a lot of notes here. make a real strong case, but certainly students first, and the students that you've talked about.
And there are things that we've heard, by the way,
Great.
in other places as well. Pretty much everything you've laid out, we've heard in different formats. So,
How about one other different point? Partnerships, community partnerships. For many ESL students, community college is not their first stop in learning English. It's some of the local adult schools. I don't know if you saw the news, but I hope Chancellor understands that just this week, one of the largest adult schools in Sacramento, Highlands Community Charter School, has had to go restructuring, and that means firing about 600 staff and decreasing their enrollment by about 10,000. They currently enroll 13,000 students. They're only going to be able to maintain about 3,500 due to the restructuring. I hope the Chancellor understands the need to build partnerships with the adult schools around here, not to replace their curriculum or what they're doing, but to help strengthen pathways from adult schools into our various community colleges. And that can be a very, very profitable, not just financially, but in terms of human development investment.
Okay, great.
And thank you for your time. I hope that sparks something of your own.
Okay, see who we can,
Other
someone else that,
Other personal professional attributes. Okay.
someone, there you go.
Yeah, here we go.
Hold on. Walk all the way over here, get out of your way.
Hi, everybody. I'm Paula Cardwell, our District Academic Senate President. And the attribute that I would very much, and my people would very much love to see in our new Chancellor is a true valuing and respect for faculty. And what I mean by that is that some folks view education as a product. It's a thing that we do, students' butts and seats, it generates revenue, awards, degrees, and it's a thing. And we need somebody who understands that what we do in this district, we're colleges, we teach, faculty teach, and that is a process. It is a very human process, and it is not a product that is delivered. When what we do is viewed as a product as opposed to a process, it's very easy to dehumanize the people who engage in that process to other faculty. I have personally witnessed and experienced a certain amount of derision and disdain for faculty in the district. We are not at the heart of what we do. Heck, we're a speed bump that gets in the way of some of the things that need to be done. And as long as that othering exists, decisions are kept from us, information is kept from us, decisions are made around us and not with us. That causes deep distrust within the district, between faculty and administration, and we absolutely need a chancellor who values faculty and discipline expertise, who values our heart and the process of what we do, and who will not tolerate that kind of derision or overriding of faculty in decision-making. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? How about, we did hear in other parts of the district from the classified service as well. There were some classified individuals who said, hey, from the classified perspective, any classified folks that want to step forward? And there we go. That's okay. No. Just for the.
Just to echo along the same lines about what Paula said, is just the Chancellor needs to understand that classified staff are important to making this whole thing run. The classrooms need to be cleaned, the things need to be fixed. We need to do all of that before teaching can happen in a lot of ways. And that contributes to a lot of instructional and student services success. So valuing that component of the organization is very important to me. I will also echo the community connections and the outreach to our local partners and how important that is on all sides of the equation. But back to classified staff, it's often, I feel, overlooked, not significantly, but we forget that classified staff kind of run in the shadows and push paper and make a lot of stuff happen that just kind of is taken for granted. And it's important. So I would like to see a specific emphasis, just as much emphasis on faculty and student services. I mean, it's 3 legs to the stool, right? So just acknowledging that point is very, very critical for me.
Thank you so much. Right here, yep. I'm gonna pass it down.
Okay, so this district is pretty big, and therefore we accept many times that in order to have change, we have to wait. And so I would love a chancellor that's willing to challenge that and make things happen faster. And I could give a specific example. You commented on the beauty of this college, I agree. And we are growing. We're growing just as fast, if not faster, than our sister colleges. But the resources that come to this college are coming very, very slowly. And it's now having an impact on the culture that we've worked hard to create here. It's having an impact on the students and how we're able to serve them. And so I would love for innovation and speed to be a priority for the next chancellor.
Hi, everybody. I'm Marianne, and I actually work here at the Harris Center, the Performing Arts Center. I noticed the first screen did not have the Harris Center logo on it, and I do feel that it's a valuable part of the district. This is a $50 million facility that was built almost 15 years ago. The chancellor at the time, he was a champion for the arts. And that's what I would hope of the next chancellor. The arts sometimes are partnered with STEM, as music and math are the same side of the brain. I believe in the arts for the underserved. I believe there are many students that would love to take an art class, visual, performing. It's also great for mental health. It's not available to a lot of our students out in the community. So I would hope that we would maintain the level that this Performing Arts Center provides. We have international concerts, we have Broadway musicals, but on purpose, 2 instructional theaters were built at this Performing Arts Center in order to provide a professional setting for the students of the district. And I hope that that value is maintained with the next chancellor.
Thank you, Marion. Yes, we'll go there and then I'll come back to you.
Just to chime in on what Marianne said, I'm Debbie, the chair of the dance department here at Folsom Lake College. And I also would like to say that one of the personal and professional attributes or characteristics for the next chancellor would be to value the arts, to look at the fiscal resources, as Carlos said, that could be helping students so that students come first. And then also so that faculty have the resources they need to produce the shows that they vision forward. To look at how the stipends are allocated between all of the performing arts so that that can be equitized because it's not balanced at this time. Each of the performing arts and visual arts have a different sort of stipend allocation. I'd love to have that looked at. And just in general for Students First to have students of the arts to have workplace applicable prioritization so that there are community relationships and partnerships, as was mentioned before, for students that are performing and dancing, singing, acting, creating arts that could go then out into the community and do internships, so collaboration with the work experience office, and really looking at workplace applicable education so that our students can leave here with a chance to make it in the profession that they wish and have the resources allocated for things like that and collaboration projects like that between work experience, internship, and the arts.
I'm heading back here again.
All right, more feedback. I love the arts topics. Thank you very much. And I think it dovetails with the last two comments, right? About partnerships, especially in this particular building, and Carlos's comment about resources. And to me, it's about having the guts and the skill to go out and manage those relationships and those discussions, because they're not always easy. And a lot of times they create, when you challenge people for resources or partnerships, it creates conflict and it creates drama. And I think there's a particular trait in some people that can manage that better than others, right? That can have those difficult conversations and you can walk away without thinking that person hates your guts, right? Or is gonna do something to sabotage you later. And so there's something to me in a leader that is about being able to communicate and talk about the realities of constraints and the realities of challenges and make it seem equitable, even though it may not be equitable, right? There's in terms of, it's not always equal, right? It may be equitable, but it's not always equal. And sometimes we get lost in those terms. But for me, the thing is, someone who has the human skill or the talent to negotiate and to talk and still keep relationships intact, I think is a hugely important thing.
Great.
Thank you. On the corner over here, any comments?
Ben, we have one right. We have a
Where?
comment here.
Oh, okay, hold
And I'm
on.
going to move you on to the
Hold
next
on.
couple of questions.
Yes, okay.
Thank you. I want to first thank you for the opportunity to provide some feedback and to listen to the college, as we are an emerging HSI. We are on the cusp of being an HSI institution, but our sister colleges are HSIs. And so I think that we need a chancellor that is visionary, that understands the statuses of the college, knowing that HSI designation is under federal attack, and the work that we do with those grants and TRIO and all of the special categorical grants that we receive are at jeopardy, but they are impacting the students that need it the most. And so I think that the next chancellor is going to need to have a vision of how to provide those necessary, vital, critical resources to students, knowing that we don't have the fiscal backing. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move us on. If you have any other ideas or things that popped up here, please put it in the survey, and we'll get the results over probably on Monday or so from that, and we'll start doing some great discussion, and some great wording came out of some of these as well. So please put that.
And what we're seeing, we are seeing themes. We're seeing
Yeah.
themes that are emerging. So we really appreciate your comments today.
So the next question that's going to be on the survey, we'd like to get some feedback this morning, is we want to put it out there. As we're going out and recruiting, we want to identify those unique, those important and unique strengths of the Los Rios Community College District and its colleges that you believe are important to convey to those considering applying for the chancellor's job. What do we need to put out there? And all of you here at the college, you've got your perspectives. We'd like to put it out there. What are those unique and important strengths of the district and the college?
I got one right here.
Okay, great.
Our diversity from SCC to FLC. That's it.
Okay. Heard a lot
Yeah.
of it. That's great.
And with respect to this, when people call us or when we call them, they're going to ask us what's the fiscal condition of the district? How are the board of trustees? How are labor relations? Those are typical. If people are worth a pop, those are the sorts of things they're going to ask. But what we also want to convey to them is, and here's some strengths of the district. Here's some things that should draw you to this place. And so thank you for that. And any other comments about that you would? Oh man. Okay. No, I can get to you. I'm just kidding. Okay, I got.
I've been working here for almost 20 years, and so I've seen 2 different chancellors. And I would prefer to have a chancellor that takes accountability for the convocation presentations that they do in front of the faculty and the deans and the staff. Not that we haven't seen that. I'm not saying that we haven't had that, but one of the strengths that I would like to see is the presentation product when they're coming to speak with us, so that we can understand the fiscal state of affairs for our district and show us graphs and show us pictures and bring in pieces of information, so that sense of responsibility to the faculty, the staff, the students, everyone, that the minutia of their job is in some ways understandable, like what their action items have been, so that we can see that they are accountable and supporting the district. That's what I would like to see.
Thank you. Someone else? Ah. Thank you.
Yet another very important quality for our new chancellor, and a long list of qualities, is as we move forward with our new NAGPRA policies in the district, this person is going to need to be able to maintain wonderful consultation and relationships with our tribal partners as important members of our community. That's something that has been historically ignored by a lot of colleges, and it's very important for Los Rios going forward.
I think one of the strengths of our district is that so many of our classified staff are homegrown, meaning they started as student workers. And so if we can have a chancellor who understands that and fosters processes that facilitate the hiring of those student workers in a timely manner, you know, you think, oh, a month hiring process. In a student's world, that's an eternity. Right? That's already a month's rent behind on a fiscal, but then they're losing out on that opportunity. So encouraging the timely processing, hiring, training of student workers, so that they're in a place to then perhaps step into another classified role, and sometimes even on into faculty and administration. It's a great thing in our district. We see a lot of that.
Okay, no, I'm just kidding.
I just want to draw everybody's attention to the question on what are the strengths, and I felt compelled as a trustee to sort of perhaps put these out there, and we've said them and we'll say them again to our consultants. Again, this is a discussion. This question is, what are the strengths of the district? Definitely our diversity. Definitely, I think the culture where the board has embraced and committed to that inclusion and equity and diversity. But I also don't want, I really want to highlight, when someone is looking at coming to our district as a chancellor, we are consistently over decades admired because fiscally we're solid. In the toughest of times, and it's not always embraced by perhaps our constituency groups as we focus on having that reserve, but this is hugely attractive, and we've done that. Well, we have indeed consistently, maybe not to the degree people would like, we've consistently increased compensation benefits. I think we have some growth in some areas, and I have said those publicly, but this is not the forum for that. But I do want us not to miss the fact that our district is highly attractive because we don't suffer the fiscal mishaps of a couple of districts in the state. I'll say San Francisco, LA. We have, there is comfort in a chancellor coming into a solid fiscally sound district historically, not 1 or 2 years out of 10, but this is consistently, certainly before my time. Additionally, I will speak for our board. You know, we may internally disagree on some things, but publicly we are focused on conveying a consistent message. We, behind the scenes, will push on things that you may or may not be aware of. But I think that board collegiality, we lack, at least the public dysfunctions that a lot of boards have. And that's really scary to a chancellor, to come into a district where you have dysfunction among and divisions among your trustees, because the chancellor won't know who they need to answer to. So I don't want that to be lost on this group, is that our board is incredibly collegial, publicly speak in one voice, even if internally and behind the scenes and in closed session we have disagreements, and that we as a district have been over 20 years, and even before that, consistently fiscally sound, so that no one has to worry about the next downfall in the economy. So I felt compelled to identify that as two strengths along with the others that people have mentioned.
Thank you so much. That helps a lot.
Okay, we have one more comment, then I'm going to move us on to the next.
Right, that's what I was going to tell. We got 15 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So let's. No. Go ahead. Why aren't you talking about us when we leave?
I'm on it again. I think along with the stability that was referenced, but the respect throughout the state, I think, so my experience, a predominant amount of my experience is in facilities, right? And so we have a history, while I was there, before me and after me, in facilities where we're leaders in that kind of environment, that silo within the state. And I don't have as much involvement, but I see it as well in the instructional side and the student services side. Our people are out there participating in larger state groups and helping to shape this whole system throughout the state, which is no small task, right? I mean, California community college system is huge, and a lot of people from Los Rios are influential in that system. And so I think it speaks highly to who we are, what we do, and our commitment to the overall concept, not just us, right? It proves that we give, and we contribute, and we are influential, and we have leverage. And I think that's important and significant about Los Rios.
Okay, great. I'm going to move us
Thank you.
on.
The
If you have
facilities thing's a
other
big deal.
ideas, please put them in the survey. But what are the most important issues that the new chancellor will need to address during their first year?
And you may have already touched on some of them when you were talking about some of them. So do you
Other
need,
ones that we haven't touched on.
did you raise it? Was he raising your hand?
I was saying
Ah.
your comment.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Got-
Right. Okay, got it. Anyone else? First things, like boss comes in, new boss comes in, new chancellor comes in. What are the first things they're gonna need to deal with? There we go. Excuse me, I'm gonna walk through here, guys.
Again, understanding the different ways in which our students are being under attack.
Did I turn it off?
I think you did.
It's on the bottom.
Yeah, we got it. So understanding the different ways in which our students are being under attack, because we do have a very diverse, racially, socioeconomic student, that a chancellor needs to let the region know that we will and will continue to be a safe space for students, that we will continue to be an open access institution, and that we are a place where historically students have been safe, but we are recommitted under new leadership for that.
Thank you.
Thank you, and that was a theme that emerged also the other places, so thank you for that. Anything else? Anything else the first year person's gonna run into?
Okay, think about it. If you have a chance to meet the new
You got the
chancellor,
QR code, throw it on there.
say, what are those, these are the things I think you need to address. So, in the first year.
Chancellor could identify Folsom College as his favorite college.
We'll do that for him. We'll say, we've been to all four of them.
Okay.
It's like teal.
Okay, so looking a little bit longer term, what are the most significant challenges and opportunities that the chancellor will face over the next 5 to 7 years?
A little bit different, right? But they're. Yes, here you go. Thank you.
So I think one of the big challenges that we all know we're going to face is the demographic cliff, and so I think that the chancellor needs to be very aware of that. We need to be targeted in our outreach. I appreciate the adult learners conversation earlier, looking at our dual enrollment populations. So they really need to be aware that we are all facing that, you know, we are going to be seeing less students coming in, and we need to be really strategic about how we partner, who we're partnering with, and really make sure that we are a community, the community and the community college, right? So.
You're absolutely correct. I'm going to do it really quickly. So my wife used to be a K-12 superintendent. And over the years, their kindergartens would come in at different sizes. So when you go back and you start looking at the birth rate of 20 years ago, 21, 22, 20, our students, and you start to look at those birth rates, you start to see that cohort of young people are smaller or larger coming through. But then we have these other challenges of what's going on now in the country. So thank you for that. Very important one. Anything else? In the next, I know facilities, is that a big deal? That's going to be a big deal, right? Somebody want to say something about it? Boss?
Whether or not we do a bond measure.
Yeah.
That we decided in a very short period of time.
And that's something the chancellor's going to have to work with you folks on, right? Do we do that? Do we do a bond election? So, yes, sir. Okay, I'm going to go over there. One. This at you, and then I'm going to come to you.
I think one of the biggest challenges is going to be technology in terms of AI, and its impact to both how we deliver instruction, but also its impact on the workforce and the changes we need to make to accommodate for that new workforce.
Yeah, big one in the room, right? So let me go over here. Dun, 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 dun. Here you go.
How there will be growth at one or two of the colleges and stagnant maybe at others, and how that'll affect the allocation of resources throughout the district.
Thank you. Others, before, in the next 5 to 7 years, something that not only he or she is going to have to deal with, but really all of you and certainly the trustees. So, anything else? Yes, sir.
I think Donald Trump brings so much just unknowns. He has already proven he's attacking DEI efforts. There's more coming. I don't know what those things are, but I think having a chancellor that sees an opportunity to maintain, as Lisette said earlier, the support for our students and the safety that they find in education and in our spaces, right, is important. So it's an unknown, unfortunately. I don't know how to say it otherwise.
Actually, one of the students said a very similar sort of thing, but they just said, we need a chancellor that's going to stand up and fight for us and be willing to fight again and again and that sort of thing. So it's a similar sort of a thing. In these crazy times, these unknown times, you need a chancellor that's going to be willing to step forward and duke it out. Jim, where are we with time and how are we?
Well, I think we're just about finished up. Again, I keep mentioning the online survey. We really want to hear or read and then collate, provide to the trustees feedback from all of you. Also want to know which constituent group do you belong here. That helps us see their input from all constituent groups. And again, there's the QR code and the logo without the Harris Center on it. Again. Hey, I use the official logo when I put this together. So with that, again, go to the site there. We need to have the feedback by Friday at 5, and it'll only take you a few minutes to get that taken care of. Everybody shoot the QR code that need to shoot it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trustee, anything you want to leave us with?
I just really want to thank PPA Al, for guiding us through this process.
Thank you.
And everybody that turned out, and again, just if you're uncomfortable giving input, please go online. I believe it's anonymous, right?
It's anonymous. It's anonymous.
So feel free to, we really are going to look at all of this, and it's going to help us align what we want to develop as a profile. So please, it's very valuable. Thank you for facilitating.
Thank you. And here's our contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out to Ben or myself.
Yeah, by phone or by email, doesn't matter. We'll chat with you. And again, and this is absolutely serious. If you hear anything out there, or someone's got in your ear or something like that, call us, and because we're just going to try to maintain the integrity of the entire search process. And so, just call us. Were you raising your hand? Oh, no. Are you sure? Yeah. Come on. Okay.
Yeah, the big thing, we'll only take searches that are fully open.
That's
and
right.
Confidential. And so we want to maintain confidentiality. That's why we're here. Somebody needs to talk, provide an idea, give us a call, or send an email or a text, and we'll respond back to you. Well, we all owe it to the district to get the very best person out there, and we don't want to have any issues as we go along. These are complex searches, but they're exciting searches to get into. So thank you very much
thank you.
For being here.
And well, as Jim said, we don't do winks. We got somebody, but we've got to do a search, because with community colleges, you're obligated to do a search. You can't just do it internally like K-12s can do it. So you got to go out and do a search. But we do have some places, some districts that kind of wink. We got somebody internally, but we won't do those searches. The other thing that is true is that with respect to candidates that are out there, we will treat each and every one of them exactly the same. We'll tell them the same thing. We'll give them the information, et cetera, and we will not refer them to any VIEW folks or anything else like that. If anybody will refer them to the Chancellor, who can say to them, here's what's been going on, but it's up to the Chancellor whether he wants to chat with them. So with that, thank you so much. We thank you so much. This has been great. Yes.